For more, we want to welcome now Dr. Eran Lerman, Vice President at the Jerusalem Institute for Strategy and Security, former Department Director of Foreign Policy and International Affairs at the National Security Council, Prime Minister's Office. Dr. Lerman, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So let's begin with the latter, Dr. Lerman. What should be our expectations from such a bid by the state comptroller, if at all?
Well, he has been under very severe criticism at some point for focusing apparently on specific military failures and avoiding the broader scope of the absolutely necessary inquiry into what happened. But this also can be viewed as an attempt to sidestep the question of national or state commission of inquiry, which traditionally is chaired by Supreme Court justice, which is something that for various reasons the current government or the Prime Minister has been opposed to. So you can look at this both ways, but at the end of the day, what would determine the outcome is the weight of the evidence, whether or not, given what we should have known about Hamas prior to October 7th, we took the necessary measures to prepare for what was coming. Yeah. I think this ultimately needs simply to rest on the evidence.
So, Dr. Lerman, back to the now. If you will, the Chief of Staff giving his green light. The Defense Minister is expected to be next. What are we going to see on the ground as early as the coming days?
Well, let me first of all say that clearly this is being undertaken in the context of concurrent effort to finally force the Qataris to bring the Hamas leadership to the table on terms that can actually lead to a deal.
It is interesting the way you're phrasing it, Dr. Lerman, to pressure the Qataris to bring about the agreement of Hamas. So this is the angle or the player that was not pressured enough so far?
Quite clearly, they are, I think, the crucial element in the current situation. There has been, I believe, a degree of let's say, argument or disagreement within the Israeli professional system, whether Qatar, basically a hostile country, should remain the focal point or should it shift to Egypt. The Turks have also moved in. Turkey and Qatar have always been very closely aligned. But right now, if the purpose is to actually get a hostage deal, whether partial or broader, the Qataris are the key. So all of this is tied closely to the level of absolute certainty that unless this is going to be put together, Israel will move in. The key question is not a military one. Hamas, or what's left of Hamas in Gaza, is not a force capable of actually resisting Israeli operations on this scale. The problem is rather to organize effectively the evacuation of the civilian population from the combat areas. And this is why this is not going to be a head-on assault. It's going to have to be very careful, very gradual, and very systematic in order to avoid the kind of blame that has blighted Israel's international position in recent months.
So Dr. Lerman, as you're mentioning, the military arena, the diplomatic arena, profoundly intertwined, and we should not be surprised to see the diplomatic arena waking up. But how can we know, if we can at all, if it is just a bid to put a hold on the military campaign, or do we have a reason to believe this time negotiations would be different? Trump says himself today, the hostages will be back only once Hamas is out.
Well, at the end of the day, Hamas needs to be taken out of the political and military equation in Gaza. This is not the Israeli position. This is the position of the Arab world, publicly announced. This is the position of countries which have bitterly criticized Israel for its actions and nevertheless feel very strongly that at the end of the day, Hamas must no longer be the ruler in Gaza. Now, the question is clearly, how do we get from here to there? And there are two possible paths. And the only way to actually go there through a non-military path, and this is the irony of the situation we're in, is to be 100% convincing in terms of our willingness to do it the military way. The moment there are doubts attached to that, Hamas simply digs in. And this is what we saw in recent months.
Dr. Eran Lerman, thank you so very much for your time and for your insight. We appreciate it very much, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.